So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so Haridas Thakur says that the consciousness is in Lord. So this shana of this consciousness should always remain with you. So in this way, we are in the So as your minds are presently fixed on Krishna, let them stay that way forever. 56th verse. So everybody danced together, chanted the names of Hari. Ebe Nitya Krishna Nama, Krishnera Chintana, Sabe Meli, Karite Thakaha Anukshana. Ebe Himsa Nahi, Nahi Prajara Pidana, Krishna Boli Kakuvade, Karaha Chintana. Here you have no envy or trouble from others. So you can humbly chant and think of Krishna. So here, the big, great meaning is there in this. Here you have no trouble or no envy or trouble from others. So prison is the place where nobody is going to give you any trouble. The trouble is actually from the sense enjoyment. And in the prison, what sense enjoyment you can have? That is actually the place where self-realization can happen. What is the self-realization? Krishna says, Ashashvatam dukkhalayam. This material world is Ashashvatam dukkhalayam. So prison is a replica of the material world, which is also compared to the prison. Arabara giya vishayeta pravartile sabeha pasharibe gele dushtamele. Otherwise, if you again return to material enjoyment, by bad association, you will forget everything about Krishna. So when a misery is given, that misery is making you remind of Krishna. So that miserable situation is actually the wonderful situation. But if any enjoyment or any so-called happy situations are making us forget Krishna, then better is we don't want such type of situations. Vishaya thakite Krishna prema nahi haya, Vishayira dure Krishna janiha nishchaya. One cannot achieve love for Krishna as long as he is engaged in sense gratification. You should know for certain that Krishna is far away from such persons. So both cannot be done together. You cannot have sense enjoyment also. At the same time, you cannot have love for Krishna. So love for Krishna is actually austerity. Love for Krishna is giving up the pleasure for sense gratification. Both cannot be done simultaneously. Paraishanu bhava viraktir anyatra cha. This virakti has to come. Vishaye avishtamana badai janjala stri putra maya jala yai sabakala. The mind that is absorbed in material enjoyment is a great disturbance. Attachment for wife, children is a binding rope for illusion that leads to one's to a death. So very clearly it has been given. But attachment on the material level is actually a pasha. Even Kunti Maharani praised this. Now see, Pandavas are great devotees. Then Kunti Maharani, when she stops Krishna from going from Hastinapur to Dwarka, she says, what happened to me? I'm just thinking about my children. That means this illusion of attachment to children that is not allowing you to go to Dwarka. So let my consciousness be just on you. Let that even the attachment to the children, those who are great devotees, Pandavas are great devotees, even that attachment also, that illusion also, Krishna, please remove it from me. Daive kona bhagyavana sadhu sangapaya Vishaye avesha chadi krishnera bhajaya. If by providence a fortunate person achieves association of a devotee, he gives up his attachment for material enjoyment and worships Krishna. Se saba paradha habe punarabara vishayera dharmayai suna kathasara. In conclusion, the nature of the material enjoyment is that one makes the same mistake again and again. Charvita charvadala. Already Prahlad Maharaj has told this. Charvita charvadana. Again, we try to chew the same thing which we have already chewed. Again, the same mistake. Bhagyavan Jiva, Brahmanda Bhravite Krola Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Bija. It's very important to have association of devotees. If the association is removed, understand, service also goes away. And the bhakti completely is destroyed. Slowly, we'll never be able to understand also when it went away. Maya is so strong. How Maya entangles a person. First, Maya makes that person feel we are doing a very good devotion. We can do devotion at home also. Why we have to go to temple? So that thought itself makes a person do devotional service alone. Then what happens? When Jada when Bharat Maharaj was entrapped, who are we? And slowly, all the services also vanish away because Maya entangles the person in different ways. You'll find no time. You'll be so busy schedule. You'll have no time. You'll be so engrossed in your materialistic activities, health problems. Sometimes too much of progress. That is also a problem. Progress in materialistic life, lot of money, power. That is also an impediment, which is not allowing me to associate with the devotees, which is not allowing me to serve Krishna, which is not allowing me to go to the temple. So this game of Maya is very, very strong. Especially when lot of opulences come, we should pray to Krishna. Oh Krishna, let me not be entrapped in this, because this is also one jala. You know how elephant is caught? If a male elephant has to be caught, a she elephant is kept. This is all illusion. Opulence is one of the illusion. So devotees should never be carried away with all these things. He should just pray to Krishna. Etat praktim mama bahumatam janma janmantarepi. Prashekar Alvar says, even if these opulences are my karma bhagya, let me not be carried away with this. Let me always serve your lotus feet. So this is a very important message here. That association of devotees is a will of providence, and a fortunate person only gets that. Bandithaka hena ashirvada nahi kori, vishaya pashara aharnisha balahari. Therefore, I did not mean stay there in prison, but rather stay free from the thoughts of material enjoyment and always chant the holy name of Krishna. Chale hari, chale korilana, ami yei ashirvada, tilaradhika nabaviha tomara. Vishada, do not even slightly lament that I gave you this blessing in an ambiguous way. Sarva jiva prati daya darshana mara, Krishna druda bhakti hauka tvama sabakara. So here Haridas Thakur says, I glance mercifully on all living entities. May you all have firm devotion for Lord Krishna. So don't misunderstand when I said stay there forever. This consciousness which is free from material enjoyment, that consciousness should always be stayed upon. He says, I always pray that everyone should have drida vishwasa, drida bhakti for Krishna. Chinta nahi dina duiti nera bhitare bandhana kuchibe yai kol kohilu na tomare. Don't worry. I guarantee that within 2 or 3 days you will be freed. So they were all in anxiety, thinking that they are going to stay here only. He says, don't worry. Within 2 or 3 days, you will be freed. Vishayete thaka, kiba thaka, yathatha, yathatha, yei buddhi kabuna pasariha sarvatha. Whether you are a householder or whether you are an initiate, whatever you are, don't forget these instructions at any cost. So it doesn't matter whether you are a grahastha or a sannyasi. What matters is how much devotion we have for Krishna. That is more important. Sannyas is also an ashrama. Grahasth is an ashrama. Sannyas is an ashrama. Vanaprastha is an ashrama. Brahmacharyata is an ashrama. Ashrama means ashraya iti ashrama. Taking shelter of Krishna is ashrama. So one can be in any house. It is just an house. Different houses. Grahastha is also a house and sannyas is also a house. But in all these different categories, one just has to remember Krishna. That is more important. Bandi sakalera kori, shubhanusandhana, ailena, mulukera, adhipati, sthana. After offering the prisoners his best wishes, Haridas went before the governor. Ati manohara teja deki atahana parama gauraveva shivare dilasthana. When governor saw Haridas Thakur's brilliant effulgence, he respectfully offered him a seat. आपने जिज्ञासे तानरे मुलुकेरपति के न भाई तुम्हारे की रूप देखी मती. He said, actually you belong to us. Why are you having such a mentality? Kata bhagya dekha tumi hayya che yavana tabe kene hindura achare dehamana. So you have got a bhagya to be born as a Muslim, Yavana. Tabe kene hindura achare. Why are you following the rules and regulations of the Hindus, achare? Amara hindure dekhi nahi khai bhata taha chhada hai tumi mahavamsha jata. We don't even eat rice which is touched by the Hindus. So why are you degrading yourself? You have been born in a high family. Jati dharma langi kara anya vyavahara paraloke ke mane vapaiba nisthara. So what are you doing? You're transgressing your caste and religion. Jati dharma langi. Langi means you're transgressing. Why? Kara anya vyavahara. To follow others' religion. Paraloke ke mane. How are you going to attain salvation? Najaniya ye kichu karila anachara se papa guchha kari kalma uchara. So whatever sinful activities you have unknowingly performed can be cleared by uttering kalma. So kalma is an Arabic word which means a statement. The Quran indicating the acceptance of Muhammad's Islam religion, that is kalma. Considering that Haridas Thakur was related to him as his brother, the Mohammedan governor told him, I want to know why you have been degraded like this. There is no family superior to the Muslim family. By great fortune, you have taken birth in a Muslim family. So why have you accepted the behavior of the inferior Hindus? We do not eat rice touched by the Hindus because they are low class. You have taken birth in a great family, so it is improper to degrade yourself. How will you be delivered after death if you transgress the Mohammedan religious principles and follow other religious principles? Give up such sinful behavior. Recite the Chahar Kalma. Then you will be freed from the sin incurred by following the Hindu religion. Kalma is an Arabic word. So Kalma means the statement which says acceptance of Muhammad's Islam religion. Shuni Maha Mohitera Vakya Haridasa Ano Vishnu Maya Bali Haila Maha Hasan. After hearing the governor, who was illusioned by Maya, Haridas simply laughed and said, how wonderfully the illusory energy acts. Here also Haridas is laughing. He says, oh, I can see that how the illusory energy is acting. Hearing the words of the materially conditioned Mohammedan governor, Haridas Thakur thought, such a statement befits a person who is bewildered by the illusory energy of Krishna. Since the conditioned souls accept all material ingredients as objects for their sense gratification, they are cheated from realizing the Supreme Lord. The Lord is fully transcendental, and material ingredients are objects of sense gratification for the conditioned soul. Therefore, Haridas Thakur realized the uselessness of the Mohammedan governor's words. बोलिते लागिला तारे मधुर उत्तर शुन बाप सबाराई एकाई एकई ईश्वर नाम मात्रा भेद करे हिंदुए यवने परमार्थे एक कहे पुराणे पुराणे. Then he sweetly spoke to governor. Listen, dear sir, the supreme Lord of all is one without a second. The Hindus and the Muslims differentiate the Lord only by name. But in spiritual vision, the Lord is one. This is confirmed in the Puranas and the Quran. There's only one God. Still displaying causeless mercy on the Muslim governor, Thakur Haridas began to sweetly speak as follows. The personality of Godhead is one, eternal, non-dual, and the Lord of all living entities. That one Lord is the controller of the Hindus, Muslims, young and old, and male and female. Hindus and non-Hindu Muslims who are ignorant of the signs of the Supreme Lord foolishly oppose each other by concocting two different gods with separate names. But when they give up such discrimination and difference of opinion and indifferently consider their respective religious scriptures, the Puranas and the Quran, then they will never find such differences in the absolute truth. Eka Shuddha Nitya Vastu Akhanda Avyaya Paripurna Haya Vaise Savara Hridaya. The pure, eternal, non-dual, inexhaustible Lord sits in the heart of everyone. So Lord is one. Every Shastra speak that. Every scripture speak. Lord is only one. To understand the Lord, one has to take shelter of the spiritual master. That also every scripture speaks. Then the chanting of the holy name is given in different ways. So this is also given in the scriptures. So these three things, and one must have control over mind and senses. So these four things are there in all scriptures. But still, just because the names are different, we fight with each other. The Supreme Lord is pure, free from contamination, untouched by sinful reactions. He is imperishable, ever existing. The Supreme Lord cannot be divided by secular considerations. The Supreme Lord does not expand or diminish under the control of time factor. Therefore, he resides in the hearts of all living entities, including the Hindus and the Muslims, as the undivided super soul. The same Lord who is situated in the hearts of the Muslims is situated in the heart of the Hindus also. Being impure as a result of aversion to the Supreme Lord from time immemorial, and thus under the control of temporary misconceptions based on mundane time, place, and person, the living entities consider themselves as enjoyers and become averse to the service of the Lord, due to not understanding the undivided super soul as the complete whole. Rather, they wrongly consider him a fragmental living entity like themselves. If only they give up their concocted material enjoyment and mental speculation based on the desire for liberation and engage in devotional service, then they will know him as the only worshipable Lord. So the same Lord is seated in your heart, my heart, Muslim's heart, Christian's heart, in everyone's heart. It's the same Lord who is seated as Paramatma. Then why we differentiate among each other? Just because of the ignorance. And because of ignorance, we follow many rules and regulations of this material world. So these so-called rules and regulations of this material world differentiates a person among each other. Or the constitutional position of every living entity is he is servant of Krishna. That may be a Christian, that may be a Muslim, that may be anybody. Whoever is situated in different bodies, somebody may be situated in Hindu body. But the constitutional position of the soul will never change. His relationship with Krishna also will never change. So last verse, Sei Prabhu Yarena Layayena Namana Sei Mata Karma Kore Sakala Bhuvana. The Lord induces everyone to work in a particular way and everyone in the entire world acts accordingly, following the whims of their mind. The conditioned soul act according to the inspiration they receive from the undivided, inexhaustible, eternally pure Supreme Lord, and who directs them to act. The Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati, Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudhani Maya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of the living entities, who are seated as on the machine made of the material energy. So, following the whims of the mind. So, this mind also functions because of the inspiration given by Krishna. Why Krishna is giving inspiration to follow a particular process? Because seeing that the mind is not attached to Krishna. If the mind is not attached to Krishna, it said, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha purunandara. There should be only one pointed attention to receive love for Krishna. But bhogaishwari prasaktanam taya pratachetasam. Vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhavana vidhyate. How samadhi will he attain samadhi? If bhoga ishwarya prasaktanam, so much of asakti is there in bhoga and aishwarya, then how will he attain samadhi? What's the meaning of samadhi? Samyak adhyate asmin atmatattve tatmayam. So completely understanding our relationship to Krishna, that is more important. If that is not taken into consideration, that is not given any importance, then bhoga aishwarya prasaktanam. The person is entangled in this material world in bhoga and aishwarya. So that is how the person is made to forget Krishna. It is Krishna's illusory energy. That's why inspiration is also given by Krishna only. Forgetfulness of Krishna is also because of Krishna's illusory energy. And illusory energy is also, Krishna says, Mama Maya. She is my Maya. Duratya, very difficult to cross. Okay, here we'll stop. Any questions you can ask.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for the class.
Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, can I ask a question? Yeah. Mataji, in text 65, you read that Haridas Thakur glanced mercifully on all living entities, and then further he says within 2-3 days you will be freed. So here, my query is that did this Haridas Leela perform by going to the prison only for this glancing purposes? Because he could have, if he's an elevated soul, he can glance even without going to the prison. No? So how do we understand this?
Sometimes personal association also matters.
Sometimes?
Personal association matters a lot.
Okay. Fine. Then next is that you said that whether you are a householder, renunciant, etc., don't forget these instructions at any cost. So this has an underlining, this observation, this is an underlying effect that this refers to the Nitya Dharma of every soul.
Yeah.
The
This
third,
is the Vyavahara Dharma. Vyavahara purpose, we are taking Chaturvarnyam,
okay.
Varnashrama. But Nitya Dharma is servant of Krishna. No?
Okay, so Vyavahara Dharma, yeah.
One is Vyavahara, Arthika Dharma, Paramarthika Dharma. So Paramarthika Dharma is chanting the holy name, serving. Yeah. Arthika Dharma is Vyavahara, just for your Artha. Maintenance.
Dharma. Then the third one, that when they gave up such discrimination and difference of opinions and indifferently considered their respective religious scriptures, that is referring to the Muslim. So this may be referring to the deluded buddhi, no, of those Muslims. Deluded buddhi. Buddhi as the buddhi's function is to discriminate, no? That whether this is good or bad. So can we say like that it is, or you said
duality.
Yeah.
When the mind is not in Krishna, there is the duality acts upon him.
Duality.
Good, bad, everything.
Duality is a good word. Yeah. And the last one is that rather they wrongly considered him as a fragmental living entity like themselves. That means they are referring to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personality. So here we can we relate this to the two analogies which Prabhupada gave of fire and sparks, and the second analogy of sun and the ray particles. So they are this is fragmentation is referring to that analogy.
Yeah, pea and the drop.
Yeah, that can also be. Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for clearing.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Party.
Yes. Hey, you did not go to school? Huh?
I want to sing.
You want to say something? Tell.
ओए वैष्णव ठाकुर दयर सागर एदासे कोरोना कोरी ओए वैष्णव ठाकुर दयर सागर एदासे कोरोना कोरी दिया पद छाया श्रुदवे आमाया दिया पद छाया श्रुदवे आमाया चरण तोरी तुम चरण तोरी कोई वैष्णव ठाकुर दयर सागर एदासे कोरोना कोरी ओए वैष्णव ठाकुर दयर सागर एदासे कोरोना कोरी
हरि बोल। ओय वैष्णव ठाकुर,
कॉल करो
ओय वैष्णव ठाकुर,
पापा को कॉल करो
हरि बोल।
हरि बोल मंजिल, 1 मंजिल।